Hello and welcome to the John Ark Show. Today's episode is called What Do Some of the Richest People in the World Think of the Current Economic Issues? The current economic issues are causing tremendous challenges in the economy. And we thought that rather than ask the usual economists and politicians, financial experts and pundits what they think of all this, we thought what we would do is do some research and figure out what some of the richest people in the world think about what's going on. Before we begin, I want to encourage you to subscribe, like, follow, and comment on the show. Also, I want to tell you that the show is sponsored by HollywoodIsCalling.com. It's a company which allows you to purchase live calls with real celebrities. You can purchase one for yourself, or you can purchase one as a gift for somebody you care about. The calls are typically $19.95 and $29.95. So check it out, HollywoodIsCalling.com. Now, let's get started. So we've done some research and made some very discreet inquiries. We've asked some really wealthy people some really interesting questions, but we decided that the only way to get truly honest answers from them is to be extremely discreet and give them anonymity. So the first question was, how long do you think this pandemic crisis will last and continue to suppress the economy? The consensus was that we don't think this shutdown will last very long. The problem is that the cost of suppressing the economy would very quickly outweigh the cost of the health threats being posed to a relatively small percentage of the population. Next question, do you think the government should bail out these companies? Answer. We think that some companies should be bailed out, but there should be some very specific strings attached. Number one, we don't think any company that is bailed out by the US government should be allowed to perform stock buybacks. Number two, we believe that the government should mandate that any company that they bail out has to provide a master plan with an accelerated time frame for moving their supply chains back to the United States. We think that the continued maintenance of supply chains overseas poses a continuing danger to the U.S. economy, and that by moving them back to the United States, that will mean more stability going forward. And another thing is that we don't see any foreign countries offering to bail out any American companies who have extensive supply chain issues overseas. None of them. So if you have to come to the US for help, you should be prepared to surrender a few things. One, you should be providing the US government with equity in your company in exchange for the bailout. Two, as we said, you should provide a plan for the return of your supply chain to the United States, and demonstrate some economic loyalty to this country. The next question we asked was, how are you protecting yourself and keeping your risk of getting sick to a minimum? The most common answer was, we're engaging in social distancing, washing our hands a lot, and a lot of people said they were wearing masks, facial masks, when appropriate. Next question, what do you think will happen economically over the short term? Answer. We suspect that the government will soon decide to approve the use of some medications that they're testing currently. When they make that announcement, when the White House announces that they're going to begin making available certain medications, we believe that the stock market will skyrocket and that this will create more millionaires than the United States has ever seen before in a much shorter time frame that has ever been witnessed before. Also, when businesses are allowed to reopen, we predict that you're going to see a tremendous surge in buying and celebrating that'll probably be greater than we've seen in the last 5 or 6 Christmas selling seasons combined. The next question, what do you think this will do to Trump's re-election prospects? Answer. The consensus was that most people believe that even his staunchest enemies will have to agree that if he manages this health crisis really well, then it will strengthen his reelection prospects. They also believe that if he manages it properly, that this will accelerate the return of many of the companies and factories back to the United States. Next question. How are you going to capitalize upon this opportunity financially? The most common answer was, we're going to start buying stocks soon and then ride them all the way back up to the top when the government announces that they have a treatment and the stock market explodes upward. Question, how much money do you think that this strategy will make individual investors? Answer, I think that properly invested, people and funds who invest in the market, in the right stocks, and in the right options, and at the right time, will see anywhere from a 5x to a 10x increase in their investments and their returns. Question, any chance that things could go terribly wrong and that this could just continue to spiral downward into some sort of Great Depression? Answer, there's always a chance, but we believe that statistically it's very small and insignificant. Question, what do you think happens to foreign countries that have been our competitors for so long as a result of both the pandemic and what happens in its aftermath? Answer, we believe that most of them will see their competitive strength dramatically weakened. We also believe that when the dust settles, that they will find themselves even more dependent upon the U.S. marketplace. Question, what is your advice for the little guy in all this? Answer, believe your eyes and your wallet and ignore most of what you're told by the media. 99% of what you're told by the media can no longer be relied upon. Question, is it possible for the little guy to get rich from the resurgence in the stock market that you're predicting? Answer, anything is possible, but the little guy has to be really careful. Don't invest in anything that you can't afford to completely lose. If a super wealthy individual worth $2 billion with a B invests 5 or 6 million in something and loses it all, there is no change to their lifestyle. But if you have $5,000 saved up in the bank and you decide to invest that $5,000 into the market, hoping to ride it back up, and something unforeseeable happens and you lose it all, that could be devastating to you and your family. So be really careful. Never invest anything that you're not able to completely lose. Question, what do you think will happen in the real estate market? Answer, that depends on how long they keep the economy suppressed. But interest rates are extremely low. They're at record lows. And once the economy begins to skyrocket again, I believe that the real estate market will benefit. Who do you think the losers, the biggest losers in all of this will be? We believe that the fake news media will see what little is left of their reputations completely destroyed. At some point, there has to be a reckoning for all the endless lies and deception. And at some point, karma will pay you a visit. And we think that's what's going to happen to the news media. Question, how else can the little guy benefit? Answer, refinance your mortgage with these historically low interest rates. If possible, diversify your income with a second job or a freelance gig. Also, invest in real estate. Buy tangible things that you can touch and feel and see with your own eyes. Buy homes or rental property that generate cash flow. If this crisis has taught us anything, it is how perishable the value in paper assets and financial instruments really is. It can all disappear in the blink of an eye. But tangible assets, that's a little harder for them to devastate. So there you go. Those were the consensus responses that we received. I hope that informs you. Thank you for your time, and we will talk to you soon.